Yeah, so 2021 was a pretty interesting year for us. We'd had a relatively quiet decade or so as a listed business, through ups and downs. It's been a tough economic environment in South Africa. But I think 2021 kicked off, first of all, with quite an unusual unsolicited offer by another listed JSE company to acquire Adapt through a share swap mechanism. And then a couple of months after that, we had an all-cash offer approached by a Canadian software business. So really, what we were faced with was a scenario where we had to, first of all, put an independent board together, which is comprised of our 4 non-executive directors. We had to make sure that we were absolutely in tune with all the regulatory requirements from a TRP, the Takeover Regulations panel perspective, from the Companies Act perspective, from a King perspective, and from in terms of being able to produce some very complicated circulars. So we relied very heavily on Marcel and the team. Essentially, they played a very pivotal role between ourselves and the regulators, especially the Takeover Regulation panel, where all of our communications, whether it be in the media or whether it be through a stock exchange news service to shareholders, needed to first be approved by them. And those often took numerous iterations. So, I think that for us was last year, and Marcel certainly spent many a long night looking at our communications before they went out. I think what I liked about Merchant Tech's approach to the challenges that we were facing is that, first of all, Marcel's voice tended to be one of quiet calm. He's pretty succinct, but he tends to make a lot of sense. And I think what I appreciated the most is he would often bring in his experience and essentially quote from other similar scenarios that he'd been involved in over the years. So it wasn't simply a case of giving advice or looking to tick the right box, but it was pragmatic advice, which I think we really appreciated. Yeah, I think Marcel was really up to speed in terms of what the TRP would require from us, the Companies Act, the JSE. Once you put all of these regulators together, it becomes quite complicated, and so he would give us a lot of input as the independent board just to make sure that we were covering all of our bases. So I think from that perspective, he was always happy to take a call from me after hours for me to perhaps ask technical questions around the approach or the process that we were needing to follow. And again, what I appreciated was his pragmatic approach and him often bringing in his past experience in similar kind of scenarios. Yeah, I certainly would have no problem with working with Merchant Tech again. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it was nice to know that we got through 2021 with all the regulatory requirements ticked and the governance boxes adhered to. So we certainly would have no problem working with Merchant Tech Capital in the future.